I will fire an invite off to Bobby, and seems pretty straightforward to me. But let's take a look at it. One sec, guys. All right. Just waiting on Bobby, then we could make Hendrick House. This looks pretty easy. Now I'm trying to think of who Lee Hodges is. I just see your text. Is he a golfer?
He's in first.
Oh, all right.
He's in first and 6,200 and at 0.4% ownership.
All right. Like that.
I didn't play enough of them.
Okay.
And I don't know how I'm going to get it 6 of 6 through in any lineups today. I don't think it's possible. I just have too many red flags on my card. How are you doing?
I don't even look yet.
Well, this is
I saw Gary Woodland. I thought Gary Woodland was like +4, and I just stopped watching.
Yeah, there's too many just nasty ones out. I even have the Cantlay, Rahm, and Hodges in one lineup, but it's just not going to get there. I mean, there's literally like 2 of the other guys are not going to make the cut at least. So
what's going to be the cut?
It's really I've never seen them so not clear on it. I think it's going to be somewhere between 5 and 9.
Oh, okay.
I know it's a huge range, but like -7 is 23%, -8 is 24%. That leaves a lot. So, and I'm looking at it now. I could still see it getting to probably somewhere between 6 and 8 is most likely, I guess.
Let me just see something. Okay, so this one, and the monster in the on the FanDuel, so -9 I'm not making, but like I don't know, I'm in 13th in this thing. I don't know, it's something. I mean, you tell me, is this any good? I don't know. So this is like Stars and Scrub City. This has got Cantlay, Scheffler, and Rahm.
It's almost impossible for me to see your screen.
Oh,
but good news! I just ordered a brand new computer and a new monitor and a new setup, so I'm going to have a much easier time with everything, including having the True DFS logo in the background. So
yeah, I'll believe it when I see it.
I just did. I just bought the computer.
I'll believe that I actually will see the logo when you tell me the actual logo.
It doesn't work with it's not compatible with this computer. I can't do anything.
Okay, all right, okay.
So it'll happen.
It'll happen.
So this is a really weird slate. I actually don't have a whole lot to add from earlier, except for that I think the right way to play this slate is to try to play as many guys in the late game as possible. Be willing to leave money on the table. Just pick out your favorites from the first game, because with all those guys questionable for Indiana.
Yeah.
I mean, what if Brogdon and what's his name sit Levert? Like, you know what I mean? Like Duarte, who's already nearly like a great play for me anyway. But Lance is then a good play. Lamb is a good play. Obviously, Torrey Craig and Batatse are already fine, depending on what they do with their starting lineup. And it just feels like that's what we should do with so much unknown. Now, you could get burned and they could all play, but even then, you still have a chance. You know what I mean? It's not like there's no other route. I don't know. That just feels like the right strategy to implement today, to try to play. So at least, like, I have 2 big lineups, at least one of them. And then the other one I'll probably have 5 guys or 6 guys from the later game. The other one I'll have like 4, when they don't really show up as the same quality of plays as the first game. So that's what I'm going to try to do.
Yeah, I try to do that, but I just like the plays in the early game too much.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I really wanted to play this Booker, Luka, I wanted to play this whole thing. So I like Valanciunas. I kind of like Randall too. So I'm gonna. So I did what I'm probably not supposed to do to play these early games. So like I said, one of us will win. I guess we'll see.
Well, I mean, the thing is, I can still play the expensive guys and play the speculative value in the late game. I mean, like Kuminga's already up. We know Kuminga's a good play already, right?
I have him in the lineup.
But maybe playing like maybe getting a little like edge and playing Looney and Batatse instead and skipping JaVale, which is kind of scary. Could pay off though. But again, you could always fiddle with it later. I mean, I don't know. I think that the placeholder guys I would use would be LeVert, Craig, Batatse, Duarte, Lamb, and then Kuminga, Looney, and then you figure out who's actually playing.
Right.
Oh, and I guess Iguodala too. But I don't really want to play Iguodala. It's just hey, I could possibly go that route, and I think that's just the smartest way to play. What's up to K9 Bronco out there? How you doing, buddy? Yeah, it's there's nothing especially exciting about this slate, but that way at least you can get some sort of edge, because if you look at the ownership in these early games, the only guys who I think are really good plays that, like, one of Bridges or Cam Johnson could have a big game and they're going to be very low owned. You could include Crowder in that conversation as well. There's no reason why one of those guys won't put up 30 fantasy points. And I think that's a viable thing to do. But everybody else on Phoenix who's gonna play is gonna be owned. Even like Cameron Payne will be owned. Luka is gonna be crazy high owned. Kristaps gonna be really high owned. Even Jalen Brunson's gonna be high owned.
What do you think of him?
I mean, I don't want to play it at chalk. You know what I mean? Honestly, if this game started at 7, I would be talking about him. But I mean, with everybody back, it's not like, I guess you don't really need the full ceiling tonight. But I don't think it's not my favorite play. It's a terrible matchup, so it's hard to justify for me. But then you look at everybody else, and they're all going to be owned. I mean, everybody on the New Orleans side who's viable is going to be owned, except for Nickeil Alexander-Walker could be low owned, and I like that play. And then on the Knicks side, I mean, the ownership is going to be crazy on Randall and Kemba, but you could play the low owned Fournier and the low owned Mitch Rob. So there are some options, but I sort of like the idea, because if those guys are out, even if they get housed,
I got a crazy two by two that I'm thinking of doing here.
Okay, give it to me.
To get myself off the board. So how about this? Instead of Brunson and McGee, how about like Super Psycho, Klay Thompson and Mitch Rob?
I don't think that's psycho at all. I don't think is that even going to be low owned? Like, I know Mitch Rob is supposed to be low owned. Yeah, actually, Mitch Rob's a really sneaky play. I don't think there's anything unusual about the Klay play tonight, is there? I actually think his ownership is. I think they're guessing wrong on his ownership. I think he'll get a little more ownership than this.
Well, I just did it, so I definitely.
I like it. I mean, I like it, Cheats.
Devontae Graham is questionable.
I mean, yeah, this is going to be an interesting spot here. I mean, this might be the spot where Lance Stevenson ends up winning the money, but he might end up being chalk by the end of the day, and he might end up also not playing more than 5 minutes. So it's kind of a tough one to figure out for sure. It's
have you been playing any Garrett Temple these couple of times where he was getting minutes?
No, he hasn't been getting minutes.
No. A few games ago, he had 33 and then a 20. Okay, so these guys are back. Okay.
I would assure you that somebody was out. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not really. I mean, I guess there's a way he could, because he's a better defender. But like, yeah, I'm sure Hart was out. Probably Grant. Probably 2 guys were out for that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think he's viable. And again, I would just encourage playing the later guys, because whether you want to play Torrey Craig or not, he may become a good play by the end of the slate. Who else would be? Duarte is a great play anyway, in my opinion. Jeremy Lamb might end up being, like, if he's starting, he could end up being like, I mean, because you could end up with Brogdon and LeVert gone.
Right.
And you can put all three of those guys in too. There's still a chance Sabonis plays. I don't know. I also wonder if there's some trade stuff going on. If that's what's directing this.
Well, that's interesting.
Because I know everybody's up for sale on Indiana because they're so bad, but it's interesting. K9, what are you doing on FanDuel today? Well, let us know what's happening. I don't think we're gonna have as many people because these kind of lazy slates are a little tough. Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to hear any questions. I'm happy to talk about anything. Ooh, yeah. Riley Davis come through for me. Nice.
I'm trying to do my usual X out of Iguodala. Just never scores more than 10 fantasy points, right?
Yeah, I mean it's just, but again, by the time just make it Jeremy Lamb then,
Yeah. I had them both in this lineup, so I can't do that.
Yeah. I mean, they're gonna. I like Clay tonight because I think they'll put up a bunch of points. They'll have to put a bunch of shots really quickly. Sabonis was ruled out. No, but Brian, I actually saw him get upgraded to questionable. So I don't know what's what with Sabonis. I know that every site has him out. I don't know for sure that that's official because I've gotten conflicting things in the last hour, but I think it's unlikely that he plays, obviously. Do we have more of Book or CP3 on DK? It's a good question. Sheets, I know what your answer is. You're gonna have more of Booker.
Yeah.
I have slightly more of Booker on DK, but I like Chris Paul too. And I like Chris Paul. It makes more sense on FanDuel than he does on DK.
You like Jordan Poole at all?
Not especially.
Okay.
The blowout run, though. I mean, you could get the blowout run.
And you were talking about Fournier, maybe.
I mean, Poole's okay. Yeah, Fournier I think is a better play than Poole. Like,
okay.
But again, maybe not because Poole gets the later slate. So some weirdness happens, and you're playing all the scrubs from Indiana, which means probably Golden State wins this game handily. It's interesting. So I do think those Pacers will be out, but we've already been burned by the Pacers, like including last night when they didn't announce until right before game time that Brogdon and Lamb were playing. And I feel like they got their win, and now they're going to just basically give all their, the other guys a shot tonight.
Wonder if you can get some blowout run for Damian Lee tonight.
Maybe, but I don't know why you're looking on. I would just look on the other side of the ball. I don't really want to. I'm not like trying to squeeze in a team with a 13-man rotation versus a team that might have like 8 guys.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, if you're trying to double punt him, I would prefer Gary Payton over Lee. But they're going to play a lot of guys. I mean, you can always tell how many Warriors are healthy, even though Draymond's out and they've got some other things that are missing. You can always tell how many guys are healthy because Juan Toscano-Anderson either goes from projecting to have like 8x or like 2x.
Right.
All right, let's see. Looney in no world is Looney like smashing anything. They don't run. He doesn't run a single. They don't run a single play for him. His baskets are all by accident. But could he get there? Sure he could. But it's not like they're going to give him the ball in the post. They don't play that way.
Right.
He's never smashing. He could smash with rebounds and get enough putbacks and things like that. But yeah, I don't know about the smash thing.
You like Jay Crowder at all?
Like I said, you can mix those guys, mix and match. I prefer Bridges, but I don't mind Crowder.
Yeah.
I just went through this, Chris, but the best game for me is try to get exposure to the late game because we have so many unknowns that we probably won't know before lock, and I think you gain some edge on the field. But of the other two, certainly seems like Phoenix Dallas. I don't think you need to like go crazy stacking a game. Like I'm not playing more than 2 guys from Phoenix or 3 at the most. I wouldn't play more than 1 or 2 guys from Dallas. I wouldn't play more than I probably would play 1 or 2 from New Orleans, and I would play 1 or 2 from the Knicks. Maybe the Knicks you could play 3, but I would think 2 would make more sense. So I'm not looking at that particular thing exactly. I think the last game, because we don't have the unknowns, is it's not even stacking. It's just like getting an edge when you don't know what the edge is going to be.
Who do you like more? Let's say you had 51, 52, 50, 51 or 5,200, and you could put them in either spot. Would you rather have Mitch Robb or Devontae Graham?
It's a good question.
Okay.
Let's see. We got some news coming in. Devontae Graham is available. So
Okay. So
maybe that was kismet or something. That you're right at that time. So Devontae Graham is definitely the better median play.
Well, let me ask you something. If I'm playing Joe Val in the same lineup, how would playing Joe Val and Mitch Robb together?
You mean Joe? Oh, I don't mind that. I mean, look, yeah, you always run the risk of foul trouble, but I don't mind. I mean, look last night. I mean, I mentioned it briefly on our show. Thankfully, a couple people took that to heart, and they played the Embiid Bamba combination.
Right.
It was worth 130 fantasy points, and it wasn't even that crazy expensive. So I don't mind centers against each other. In general, on a big slate, I usually do avoid it more, but I don't mind it on these kind of slates. Mitch Robb is definitely the lower owned play.
Yeah.
And I'm going to wait to build because I'm going to see if there's any other news before the other games. And I'm going to, like I said, have most of the late game stuff. How's it going, Denbar? Good to see you, bud. Yeah, it's not the most exciting. It's like, so right now, the current guys I have, I haven't necessarily done myself. I do have 45% Nickeil Alexander-Walker right now. I do think that's a really, really good low owned play with upside. I have a ton of Klay Thompson, a ton of Torrey Craig, a ton of Caris LeVert, just because I'm just playing that late stuff, and I can always switch to Curry or whatever and take the 40 fantasy points or whatever. I had a ton of Randall, a ton of Ingram, Kuminga everywhere, McGee a lot, but I want to try and pivot some of that to Looney, which I've done actually. And I want to pivot some more to Bitadze, or double play those guys even. And Bridges, I have a lot of, who's going to be low owned. Duarte is one of my favorite plays in the slate. I actually think that he's, especially with the question marks. I mean, he didn't play 32 minutes last night. I'd like it better even, but it's the 3rd and 4 nights for them also. I just don't see them playing Brogdon. Like, what are they doing? This guy is injured all the time. You bring him back for a game, and then you're going to have him play a second, like a back-to-back right away. It just feels weird. But if he's playing, I think he's interesting.
Like any Dorian Finney-Smith on FanDuel?
Yeah, I would. I think it's okay. It's not the way I built. I actually ended up with Kleber in my builds on FanDuel. Huh. He's actually going to have ownership too, but I actually don't mind it of him over there. It gives you a little bit of a different build.
Gary Payton.
Yeah. I mean, Torrey Craig will be in all my FanDuel lineups for sure.
Here's another kind of play we haven't played in a while. I'm getting a few lineups with Bielitsa on FanDuel.
Yeah, and again, you might have some switchability to something you feel a little more comfortable with by the time it's all said and done. Or he might be someone you feel more, you know what I mean? Like there's just a lot of unknowns for that game to not try and target it, I feel like.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Bitadze is more expensive than McGee on FanDuel. That's weird.
So Bitadze, you think is going to start?
I think he will, but I'm not 100% sure on that. It is weird because the team that usually plays 2 bigs, well, at least you'd think they would leave 1 big in, just as it changes the way they run their offense and everything, I think. But it's hard. It's a lot of speculation at this point.
this where Brissett gets more minutes or no?
I mean, that we don't know. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
This is why I wouldn't advise too much about speculating on. I mean, Brissett's in play anyway, 100%, even if everybody plays. But he's not like a great play. But he would become a great play if you lose LeVert and Brogdon. But I mean, well, probably at least 3 or 4 Indiana guys would become really great plays if you lose Brogdon and LeVert, or one of them. And both of these guys are chronically injured, so you'd think that they would be smart about it.
What else? Are there any questions out there? I mean,
I was going through them. Where's Kuminga's price on FanDuel? 5,900 for Kuminga. Can we do it? It feels like a lot.
feels like a lot indeed.
Ugh. Oh boy. Maybe though.
Let me look at this cut line here.
By the way, if LeVert plays, I think that he's like I think he actually might end up being the second highest scoring player on the slate.
Dude, can this thing really be like -9?
Possible.
That's so tough, man. I know it's all relative to everybody else, but I'm not gonna get freaking 5 guys, 6 guys at -9.
Right.
I'm not gonna get 5 guys at -9. I don't think.
Right.
That's gonna be a terrible beat, by the way, if you're freaking Hodges and don't make money.
Oh man, I know. Especially if he
Right?
keeps it going. Seriously.
But if you have Hodges, I presume you have Rom in that at least, right?
And Cantlay.
Oh my! So I mean, you got even 5 of 6 could freaking. You have a
Yeah,
a
but
Hodges,
I need a couple 7-unders to get 5 of 6, I think.
yeah, right, exactly.
I got the Sabatini and stuff like that. He's 1 over. Oh man, KH Lee though, I've got someone else in some good lineups, and he's
Yeah, I got that. I got that one.
He's back to 6 under.
I'm just kind of hoping that I see where I'm headed here with my big buy. My big buy, and I'm going to be praying that 5 of 6 is good enough. And if I can get to 5 of 6, oh no, I can't even do it. I could do it, but it's, oh my God, Gary Woodland, really +3, Gary Woodland. I mean, honestly,
I know that was terrible.
but that's okay. Patrick Reed's at -1. He can get there.
Matt Wolf was +4 through 2.
The two of them together. The two of them were on the same freaking pairing. They were one of them was, I don't know if you're watching it. On the first 3 holes, every one of them, Gary Woodland was like 80 yards to the left, and Matt Wolf was 80 yards to the right.
That's crazy. I'm playing Kuminga, by the way, on FanDuel.
Yeah, why not?
He's 5,900. That's what.
Why not? Let's see what these.
I'll take a look at questions in a minute. I'm just finishing my FanDuel build. I don't really have a whole lot of builds to go through, so it's going to be a pretty simple night for me.
Lee Hodges. There it is. Hey, that's what we talk about. He had a little prep race off the layoff. Off the layoff, a little prep race at Hawaii. Just get his feet wet. He's ready to kill people.
Yep. Bridges. Okay. Will anybody fade Julius Randle on FanDuel, do you think? Like
yeah.
literally anybody.
Yeah, I might. Let me just see. Where would I have him? Do you think I have 100 him? I don't even know. Let me see.
You're pretty close.
I would imagine, especially if I'm Xing out stuff like Iguodala and stuff. Nah, dude, I'm not even close. I only have 92% of him. No.
Boy, oh boy. Ugh.
Oh,
not a fun slate.
No. I mean, you have any Jackson Hayes littered throughout your lineups at all?
Jackson Hayes.
I got 20% of him on FanDuel actually, as the other power forward.
I didn't get. I thought about it, but I didn't pull the trigger on it.
It's a stupid 3-game slate. You know what I mean? Just shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think it's a fine wild card to take. Sure.
Yeah. Well, the fact is that we're gonna be screwing around as we get towards the later game. You know.
Yeah.
Duarte, I think we're gonna be rooting for Duarte regardless.
Yeah, I agree with that. Duarte. Yeah, power forward is weird on FanDuel. Curry. 1, 2, 3.
Hey, what's up, MJ?
Curry, Luka. Okay, there we go. Duarte, and we're gonna play. Like, this is the best thing you can hope for me because you're not. Obviously, you have to try and make bad plays to try and force things in. So unless you want to play the Fourniers or the Nikhil Alexander-Walker, which I think are both extremely viable, I think you really should be doing what I'm doing. Like, I think that's what I really do think it's the smartest way to attack the slate like this.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Oh, that was your Svensson. Oh, he faded a little bit.
What did he end up at?
-3.
I think he was on the tougher course though.
Oh, right. Okay.
At least I got that going.
Look at some of these lineups that have these guys. Of course, the Buckley, Young, Bramlett. What the hell? Of course,
Buckley,
D. Riley was actually 11% owned. Davis Riley.
Yeah, I know. He got some, and he was great for me. I ended up playing him.
All these guys. And Howard Hayden Buckley was like 15% owned in the 555. He's only -2. Vincent Whaley. All right, I guess I'm gonna split it. My food's coming soon anyway.
Yeah. Let's see if there's any quick questions that I can answer real quick. I don't know what the question is. Can you understand what James' question is?
Bobby Ngannou or Gon. Okay, I know what he's asking. So I did a video, James. You can go onto the YouTube channel. You can go into the Discord and access the MMA slate breakdown. And you will get my opinion on whether Ngannou or Gon is winning. It's definitely going to be a good fight, but I actually do have an opinion.
Yeah.
I'll make you go to the video to watch it. All right. All right. That's it. I will catch up to you later.